I will speak about chapter 13, which picks up from the chapters that Yasha and Isaac described related to reinforcement learning. And this chapter explores what's called model-based reinforcement learning, and it's illustrated through the example of AlphaZero, an AI developed by DeepMind that demonstrated exceptional performance in multiple games, including chess and Go. Unlike model-free RL methods that were described earlier, those methods lacked foresight, and AlphaZero actually simulates future moves to strategize, underlining the advantages of model-based approaches in complex scenarios. So the narrative then shifts more over to the neuroscience side, and it focuses on the frontal and sensory neocortex, and it places particular emphasis on what the book calls the agranular prefrontal cortex, or APFC. And the section of the book introduces the idea that uncertainty may trigger the APFC to initiate simulation, moving from habitual actions that are driven by the basal ganglia to deliberate model-based planning. So from there, returns to model-based RL and sort of the algorithmic AI world, and it addresses this challenge that AlphaZero is faced with having potentially so many scenarios to simulate. And AlphaZero approaches this by simulating only a selected set of promising moves that are informed by a traditional actor component. And the chapter then goes on to conclude with some commentary on habits, which are described as automated responses developed through repeated behaviors. So what I found particularly surprising in this chapter was the speculative mechanism proposed for transitioning between model-free and model-based learning. So the idea was that uncertainty can trigger the switch from the basal ganglia's routine habit-driven processes to the APFC's more thoughtful simulation-based planning. And I thought that really highlighted the adaptability and efficiency of both biological and AI systems.